First and foremost, thank you all for joining this afternoon. My name is Joshua Pruitt. I am the Senior Tech Solutions Engineer here at DroneSense, and you are in week 2 of our basic training working group. Today's focus is going to be on understanding and using the training tab within the admin panel side of things. So this is going to be more of an admin focused training. So right now we are looking at the main landing page of the web console. Those of you on the admin side should be fairly familiar with our web console. Again, this is kind of where all of the data lives. So again, what we're going to be focusing on today as I expand this left side menu is the training tab. Just under members and teams, just above hardware is the training tab. Training, obviously, those of you all on this call are all from public safety. You understand that we have continuing education, certifications, et cetera, that we have to keep up with year over year to be able to do our job. And now we're bringing in, drones into public safety. And while there's not any continuing education requirements or anything like that, I imagine that that's something that will come in the future. And so I just wanted to give you kind of a leg up on how you can utilize the training tab to keep up with all those certifications, all those CEUs, whatever your agency is doing for training, you can use this portion of the DroneSense platform to kind of help track that. So what I'm going to do is jump into the training tab. And you'll see I already have several kind of training certifications that I have set up here within our demo account. Starting at the top, we have the AWR 345, which is drones and disasters. AWR 406 is a basic kind of spooling up of a public safety UAS program. Level 1 UAS Thermography. We have a NIST evaluation. Obviously, the most important here is the Part 107 certification. We have this internal quarterly flight review that we do here at DroneSense. And then from the Center for Robotic Assisted Search and Rescue, or CRASAR, we have this UAS Response Tech 1 and 2. So if I click into any of these, we'll start with this quarterly flight review. You can see we get some basic information. This is laid out very, very similar to how we have our members and teams and our hardware and our flight logs. It's all very similar with this kind of carded view here. But here, this is our internal quarterly flight review, and this is a compliance piece. The granting authority it's tracked internally. Its duration is for 90 days. There are 14 members assigned this training, and you can see the description. To be clear to fly for DroneSense, you must comply with the following training requirements on a quarterly basis: 20 daytime flights, 10 night flights, 5 flight planning missions. And then as I scroll down, we can see all of the members that are current with this requirement of this training. So I've got 14 total. I don't have anybody that's expired or basically didn't meet that training requirement. So again, this is something that you could set up if you come up with an SOP, SOG that requires maybe monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly or annual training. You can use the DroneSense system to kind of track that training and track those requirements and that compliance. So jumping out of the training, I just want to go through a couple more of these, specifically down here, this Part 107 certification. So I've set this up. Obviously, this is a certification. This is the granting authority is the FAA. It's good for 2 years. And right now I have 6 members that are current. Down here, I can see all of my current members, when they took their recurrent, when they expire, and their expiration date. I can also see my members who have expired and have not renewed yet. For those of you on the call that know Ryan, I would encourage you to reach out to him and question why he has allowed his 107 to lapse. But just, again, jumping back into the training tab, look at one more here. We'll look at this NIST evaluation. So this is just basically running the proctored NIST course. Bracken PD is the granting authority. This is another one that's good for 90 days. And the description is each pilot must successfully complete a proctored NIST course evaluation every 90 days. He's attached a couple of documents here, including the test methods and all the forms needed to evaluate or proctor the test. We can see that Ryan is the only one who is currently expired on this. There are no current members on this. We can also see all of the teams that had access to this as well. And if we wanted to, we could upload videos on how exactly this course should be flown. But I feel like I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself. So what I want to do is jump back into training, and let's set up one of these trainings. I'm going to come into the top right over here, add new training. The template is very, very simple, folks. It's going to ask us what the template name is. And so we can call this, basic training 101. We'll give all of our teams access. This is a certification. The granting authority is DroneSense. And the duration is good for, we'll say, 90 days. But again, you can customize this years, weeks, or days. Another piece that we will be bringing to the training tab will also be a little checkbox where specific certificates or things that you might put in where they don't necessarily expire, you'll be able to mark that as well. We'll say this is good for 90 days, and this is a training certificate following basic training 101. And we'll create this training. I always take it a step further here, and I add a little image, and I'll show you why in just a second. I'm just going to go in. We'll select. Let's see. We'll just do another DroneSense logo for this one. We'll save that image, and now we've got this basic training kind of set up. So now what we need to do is come down here, and we need to add our members. So if we click on assign member, all this is going to do is populate a list of all of the personnel that are on your account right now. Obviously, you can select them all if you want to, or we can select individuals. I'm going to select them all and click next. And then you can see we can adjust everyone's assign date if we want to, or up here at the top, I can come into this grayed out assign date, and I can modify all of the assign dates at once. So once we feel like we've got this all set up like we want, we click assign members. And now you can see all of these current members that are current on basic training 101. Now, again, very similar to flight logs and hardware and a lot of other portions of the platform, there's nothing that can really be deleted. We always want to keep the data intact, but you can archive training if you need to using the same archive button that you see across multiple places within the platform. And then you can also come down to individuals, and we can remove them for training. We can automatically renew their training. We can edit their information if we need to. But once we've got this done, if we back out to training, you'll see we've got this basic training 101. The image matches this quarterly flight review. But the reason that I added an icon, if we come under the members and teams section, you can see that each pilot card or each member card has this the little icon, and each one of these icons can indicate a specific type of training. And these all, again, correlate to everything that we've set up here within the training tab. Again, you can get as creative with this stuff as you want. And this right now, this is just the first iteration of training. So if I jump back into this kind of quarterly flight review, right now to kind of track all of these 3 requirements that we have internally, I have to go through and kind of sort through flights and missions on an individual basis. The next iteration or the following iteration, we hope to have some of this kind of automated, where essentially you set up, hey, I need my pilots to have 20 daytime flights, 10 nighttime flights, and 5, flight planning missions. And we'll put that in the system, and the system will automatically pull that information based on that pilot's flight logs. Again, right now it's a little more of a manual process, but in the future we hope to have some more automation to that. See, I've got a question from Steve. So once set up, does it notify them of this new requirement? So right now, it's going to depend on how you have notifications set up. So the notifications are handled down in the admin panel under the notifications tab. You can choose who gets those notifications on training just by simply, selecting the training tab, putting in the information you want in these fields. And then if you want to, you can have this be a part of your daily roll up in emails. This could be a weekly piece of information that goes out, but your admins will start getting notified as it gets closer to these certifications and trainings expiring. the biggest piece for me on why this is important, I think the biggest one obviously is going to be your Part 107. But we've, in the past 2.5 years that I've been here with DroneSense and setting up a lot of programs, a lot of agencies are putting requirements in place for training hours, are requiring to go out and get, certifications. And this is a great way to kind of keep up with all that information in one specific place. There's no limit to how many training classes you can, or how many training certificates you can put in the system. Again, you can remove them, you can archive them, you can add additional personnel, you can add more details. I just think this is a very, very simple piece of the platform to utilize that I don't think we see enough utilization of. The big piece, right now, drones in public safety is still a fairly new thing, and there's not a lot of great training out there. But I think some of these that I've outlined here are, incredibly valuable. And a lot of these programs, especially those through FEMA and the National Domestic Preparedness Training Consortium, those are all available for free. So for example, this AWR 345 course, I'm going to open this up into a different tab here real quick. So this is the National Disaster Preparedness Training Center at the University of Hawaii. And that is the agency that puts on the AWR 345. This is an online and in-person class. No, you don't get to go to Hawaii to take this class. They travel to the U.S. and put this on. But again, this is something that is available for free to first responders to go take. And it's an incredibly valuable course. I know I've got some of the folks from GEMA here on this basic training group today. Unmanned aircraft systems and disaster management. I think that would be hugely valuable for you guys to potentially maybe get taught here in Georgia, and I can come audit in the back of the room. But again, something available for free to all public safety first responders. From that course, if I jump back in to our training tab, from 345 to AWR 406, which is done through the Energetic Materials Research and Testing Center at New Mexico Tech. So this is basically a class on unmanned aircraft systems program development. It's a fairly new course through New Mexico Tech. It's an awareness level course, just like AWR 345, but another course that they will, you can get certification and training on for free. It's 0.4 CEUs. It's a 4-hour course. They can do it online or in person. But again, with so little, federally funded training available out there, I think taking advantage of as many of these as possible, makes a lot of sense. If we jump back in real quick to the training tab, back out of this one, I'm going to scroll down to the UAS Response Tech 1 and 2. I got to give a plug for CRASAR here. I think this is one of the most valuable training classes that is out there right now for public safety. CRASAR is through the University of Florida. David Merrick heads up that program. He is one of the best in our industry, but they actually offer a couple of different classes through CRASAR. They have a UAS Response Technician 1, UAS Response Technician 2. These are both taught. It's a 1-week-long course that you walk away with both certifications. And then you also have this Small Unmanned Aerial Systems for Emergency Managers. Cannot say enough good things about these programs. We taught UAS Response Tech 1 and 2 here in Douglasville with the Douglasville Police Department earlier this year. I think we had 14 guys come out certified on the other side. This is post-certified. You're walking away with certification, 2 different certifications, not only through post, but also through the University of Florida, or excuse me, Florida State University rather. So some incredibly valuable training that, again, we just don't see a lot of yet in public safety. The last one that I've got listed here, if I jump back into the training tab, is this level 1 UAS Thermography. So everybody knows that a drone with a thermal camera is incredibly valuable tool, but there's a lot of misinformation out there in social media and in some of the forums. And I think that by taking this level 1 UAS Thermography course, not only do you get a better understanding of the science behind thermal cameras themselves, but you really learn a lot of best practices, tips, and tricks for truly applying, that UAS mounted thermal camera to your operations. This class is taught by FLIR's ITC, or the Infrared Training Center. There's a level 1, level 2, level 3. They also offer specifically an SUAS level 1 thermography, and they also have some public safety specific courses as well. These courses can get a little pricey. These aren't covered under FEMA by any means. This is a private company. However, for those of you on the call, or those of you that have folks within your agency or within your drone program that are veterans, you can actually reach out to ITC and they will let you go take one of their classes for free. That to me is, that's a huge value prop. I would encourage you to at least send, 1 or 2 of your guys to get this certification. Let them come back to your agency and do a little train the trainer type exercise. But just cannot say enough about some of these training courses. The last one we saw on here, just jumping back into the DroneSense platform, is this nist evaluation. Nist also offers a train the trainer program where they will not only teach you how to build the course, but also how to proctor it and best practices for proctoring. This is something that they offer a very, very cheap, if not free. They have a road team as well that travels and puts on these classes. This is a hugely valuable training tool to me. I know there's a lot of naysayers against NIST, but I think for getting guys comfortable, building that muscle memory, just learning the basics of flight operations, that NIST and the UAS course that they've built, I think is incredibly, incredibly valuable. All right, so I'm just going to go through the workflow again one more time here just to make sure you guys get a decent grasp. Again, I don't think it's something that is incredibly complex, but we come in, we click add new training. It's going to ask for a training template name. Put in whatever name you want. I would make this something that you want available to all your teams, unless you have, a specific training class, maybe specific to your ERT team or your SWAT team. But otherwise, I would, imagine that you're applying this to all of your teams. What training type is this? Who's the granting authority? The duration, whether it's, good for years, weeks, or days. We will, again, be adding a little tick box that says does not expire. And then once you have it created, you'll end up at this sheet here, and it's very easy to come down in and apply this certification to any of your members. So let's say Andy went out to New Mexico Tech, spent 5 days doing some of their courses out there. We'll apply it to Andy. I'll say he went on 11/05, and we'll assign. And now we see, again, because right now I know this New Mexico Tech course does not, the certification does not expire. So until we kind of get that little tick box, you can see I've put in 999 years. So he's got quite a while before this actually expires. But it's that simple. If you want to add additional documentation, you can. If you want to go so far as to add videos into the training certifications, you can as well. Another good practice, I think, for tracking training, not only utilizing this system that we have here, but if you come into the members and teams section, as you guys are getting these certifications, I think it'd be great to assign those documents to the individual as well. So not only are we tracking when it's going to expire, but we also have a copy of that document, of that certificate here under the member as well. Well, guys, again, thank you so much for your time today. Once we wrap up, if you come up with any other questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to me directly, joshua@dronesense.com, or you can hit help@dronesense.com. Thanks again so much for your time. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.